Hey, thanks for accidentally clicking on Tablenauts. I am so excited to share with you guys our 2024 holiday gift guide video. We do one of these every single year where many people from around the Tablenauts crew actually share some games that they recommend for you to purchase this year. This could be for a friend that you're trying to buy a gift for, or honestly, it could just be for you. I love to watch these types of videos and just get recommendations for what I want to get. So without further ado, let's get started.
If you, like me, wait till the last minute, then this has come at the perfect time. That being said, I wanted to make sure I can get you some games that you can actually acquire and receive in time for the holidays. I've picked two different categories for you today, and we'll start off with the games for the trick takers. The pets are already here. I'm gonna give you my honorable mentions first, and I'm gonna start off with a pair of games by the same designer, and that is Nana and Trick and Snipers. Now, if you've played Trio, that is a copy that's available in Barnes & Noble and things like that. It is the same game as Nana, so that is much easier to acquire. But if you, like me, care a lot about the art and cute animals and want Nana, then you'll have to get this from somewhere like Tanuki Games, though I checked before recording this video, it is in stock and available at Tanuki Games, along with Trick and Snipers, which you can find there as well. Both of these super fun, pretty simple card games that I've had the pleasure of introducing to a lot of different people, all of which have come away having a wonderful time with it. Then another one that I was recently introduced to that I found myself falling in love with is Bezier Games Rebel Princess. This is the deluxe edition, though you don't need the deluxe edition by any means. One of my new recent favorite trick takers. It is just such a joy. It is a game where you do not want to win the tricks. The tricks are worth negative points, and you're just like, the whole game is how can I screw my friends and get them to take the princes, which they do not want. But my main recommendation for you, this is not a Tanuki Games sponsored video, but another game that you might have to purchase from Tanuki Games because it is an import, is one of my favorite trick takers of all time already, quite possibly my very favorite one, though I need to play it more before making that declaration, and this is Trick Takers. You can also get this from the Portland Game Collective. They are who published this game in the United States. It is delightful. I heard this game referred to as the root of trick-taking games, and I was incredibly skeptical of that claim, and I have to say, it is true. You are drafting asymmetrical characters per round. Each round consists of a hand of 5 tricks, and so you look at your hand and kind of determine which character is going to give you the best chance for success this round. But you also have to be mindful of what the other players have and the characters that they're going to be able to get and the points that they've already won to know who you need to hate draft to stop them from getting their second gold crown. Trick Takers is a delight and my highest recommendation for the Trick Takers this holiday season.
Hey everyone, my name is Kenny, and first, happy holidays. I wanted to share a couple kids games that my family loves, and hopefully your family will too. The first game is Stomp the Plank. This is by Ravensburger. This is a game with like a really great toy factor. It's a very simple push your luck dexterity style game. We're going to be drawing cards, or the active player is going to be drawing cards, and we'll decide to stop, or we'll potentially bust if they ever have 2 matching symbols. And if they decide to stop, then everyone else at the table will have to take one of these little wooden chips and put it at the end of their plank. And if at any point someone's plank falls and a little elephant guy falls as well, they lose and the game over, and you start over. It's a really simple game, plays like in maybe 5-10 minutes. And it's a game that has like big highs and just lots of laughter at the table. It plays really well for young kids too. Like I think you can play this like a 4 or 5-year-old and they'll have a really great time. And I think like it's a game that's really attractive to kids because it just has a really great toy factor with big chunky pieces. And you know, any dexterity game that has like the big moment where something falls and you know, mom or dad, look at mom, dad being silly, will always be a big hit. So I think Stomp the Plank is an absolute winner.
I have a few recommendations for those of you that are watching this video specifically because you know a board gamer in your life that likes board games and you're not so keen on playing games with them. There's actually board games that are made specifically for people to play just by themselves, and they're really fun. It's not as sad as it sounds. First, we're gonna start with Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, and Gloomhaven is actually, like the base game, is considered to be one of the best games of all time, and this is a small box solo only version of that is simpler to set up, simpler to play, simpler to get to the table, and it's really, really great. I actually have played this myself, and I'm enjoying going through the campaign. It is very fun and easily one of the easier games I've learned and played myself in terms of solo games. Next up is actually one of my favorite games of this last year, and that is Witchcraft. And now this is kind of a follow-up, but not true sequel, just like a successor to the game Resist, which was one of my favorite solo games of all time. But Witchcraft is just Resist, but better. You're playing a coven of witches who are not evil, they're just trying to live peacefully in a town, and they got to convince the town that they're worth keeping around. And so by doing some quests for the people who are on the jury of whether or not you're going to be thrown in jail or going to get let into the town, by doing those quests you can gain their favor, and really most of the time it's just defeating monsters, defending the city from really awful things that are coming, and it's really, really good and really cute theme, and I can't recommend Witchcraft enough. Then lastly, if those two games are like, I don't want no baby games, and those aren't baby games, but if you want a really, really tough to learn and to play a game that is very rewarding for those of you that actually put in the time and effort to learn and play this game, I highly recommend Halls of Hegra, which is a war game for just one player. It's a bag building worker placement game where you're going to be defending yourself against these Nazis that are going to be coming for your base, and the odds are just not in your favor. You're going to lose this game a lot, but on the 1 or 2 times that out of 10 that you actually manage to win, it is incredibly satisfying and one of the most exciting really wins I've ever had in a board game. Halls of Hegra.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Do you have a friend who just can't pick what they want to play on game nights? They'll hem in the hall. I want to play something with Euro mechanisms that makes us think, but I also want to play something a little bit more fun and exciting so we can cut it up and have some fun at the table. You're going to stop them right there and you're going to say, friend, buddy, pal, I got a gift for you for Christmas. And that is Andromeda's Edge. Andromeda's Edge, the follow-up designed by Luke Laurie, his follow-up to Dwellings of Eldervale, one of my favorite games of all time. And it's a perfect hybrid game that includes Euro mechanisms such as worker placement and tableau building, as well as some Ameritrash fun such as area control, dice chucking battles. So the reason I love Andromeda's Edge and why it's kind of overtaking Dwellings of Eldervale for me is because of the minor tweaks and improvements it's made to make it just a little bit more replayable. So not only does everybody have, there's 20 different alien races you can be, which gives you a special power, but there's also 5 different types of ships, and those ships each have different powers, and those are randomized every game. And I don't think variability always means replayability, but where I think the replayability comes in this game is really the different strategies you can take, because in this game you're going to be placing workers out on the board, and those workers are going to do very basic things such as getting resources, buying cards. But when you're out of workers, your little ships here, you're going to recall them back to your home base, and the cards that you have bought previously are then going to trigger when you place your workers on them. So you're buying these cards, you're building up your tableau, and you're just setting off an engine when you recall those workers, and that recall action ends up becoming more fun than the worker placement actions, which is kind of opposite than a lot of the games that do this similar mechanism. I felt in Dwellings everybody was kind of doing the same thing. You wanted to get up a certain number of tracks and place buildings, but that's not always the case in here. Yes, you can place buildings and you want to buy cards, but what makes this special is in Dwellings, when you went up tracks, they did nothing. They were just colors, they were in-game scoring. In this game, depending on the type of building you build, you're going to go up different tracks, and each of those tracks are going to trigger something different. They may let you buy certain cards. They may make your hand limit bigger for those action cards I was talking about. They may let you score resources at the end of the game, which is a great way to score. So you can kind of take those different, you're deciding, do you want to really focus on those tracks and buy a lot of cards to help you go up those tracks, or do you want to focus on buildings, which is also going to get you up those tracks but may score different? Do you want to focus on battle, which may help you get points? Do you want to not care about battle? There's all these different elements, and guess what? I've seen every strategy work. It's just dependent on how well you do them. So I do think Andromeda's Edge is the perfect gift for somebody who wants to see those clean Euro mechanisms that make you think, but also some randomness and some Ameritrash that's going to make you talk crap to your friends and say, you know what, man? F you. Why'd you do that? So that's my suggestion for you for a gift. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Wow, you're back. That was quick, pun intended, because my next game is for the speedsters. This is Joyride, Survival of the Fastest. This is a board game that we have only played one time, so I do have a caveat here with my recommendation. But if you are someone who has enjoyed the likes of Heat, Downforce, and other racing board games, I've yet to play Thunder Road Vendetta, which I know a lot of people love. I think that from what I know about the games, this takes the best of Heat, the best of Thunder Road, and mashes them together into this delightful package. The art is wonderful, the components are great, and not like over the top, but entirely serviceable and purposeful for what they need to be. It looks wonderful on the table, it plays fast, it plays fun. Doolin, Kenny, and myself have played this, like I said, just the one time, and we had at least 3 or 4 moments in a single game where we were just like, holy cow, I cannot believe that happened. And a game that can create those kinds of moments is one that I want on the table time and time again. So if you are a fan of racing games and looking for the next thing, I truly think this one is a delight and very much worth seeking out.
One other game I wanted to shout out is Concept Kids. If you're familiar with the adult version of Concept, this is basically the same thing, but instead of talking about just anything, Concept Kids really just focuses on animals. So if you're familiar with Concept, you basically have this giant board with a bunch of symbols and icons on it. In the case of Concept Kids, it's stuff like colors. It has like the size of animals, like what habitat does the animal live in. It's a really great game because it forces the kids to kind of like have to deduce and try to single down like the different elements of an animal. So they really get some thinking in a way. It's also just so simple and light that there's like really very minimal rules to each, and you can get playing right away. I think it's a great game. My family really likes it. My daughter really loves it. We actually gifted it to Max's family last Christmas, and I think they also really liked it. So I think Concept Kids is a great pickup for a family, especially for the holidays as you go into family gatherings and stuff and want something fun to play that's, you know, not Candyland.
This next section up is for those of you that enjoy a good game that you can actually pull out as soon as you gift it to somebody and start playing it with a group of people. And first of that is one that you've probably already heard of, but if you haven't, I highly recommend everybody own a copy of That's Not a Hat. Emily and I actually played this at Thanksgiving with her family, which is filled with people who really like games and also haven't really played many games, and it was an incredible hit with everyone. It's simple, a memory game, like you're just trying to remember the cards that are being passed around at the table with some bluffing in there. If you forget, you gotta just pretend that you kind of know, but at the same time you can double bluff, like you can act like you don't know and you really don't know, but people are thinking, okay, well maybe he's just trying to get me to call him out. Like it's really, really good, and at the end of the game, when everybody flips their cards and we realize that what we've been calling a sombrero the whole time was actually on the other side of the table, is like one of those moments that just like blows your mind. But really great game, That's Not a Hat. And then for those of you that are like, I've already heard of That's Not a Hat, I don't need that recommendation. This one is one that came out this year, and last year Emily actually recommended the game Trio and Nana. We love both those games, and the creator of that game actually came out with a new game called Panda Panda, and we really like Panda Panda. We think this game really hits well. It's only 2 to 4 players. However, the way we've played is that we've actually bought 2 copies and we've combined all of the cards, and now we can play up to 8 players, and that works really well with our families. And in this game, you're simply trying to get certain, I'm gonna call them sets of cards. And all of these cards don't have numbers on them, they have letters on them, and you have a certain amount of cards that you need in your hand with the very specific set of cards. And the moment somebody gets that, they say Panda Panda and lay their cards out. However, you can't do that at the end of your turn, you have to do that at the beginning of your turn. And so for the whole turn that you might have that exact set in your hand, you're ready to win the game, somebody might play a 1, which causes everyone to have to pass a card to the person on their left. And it's fun because of those moments, right? Like the 1 shakes things up quite a bit because you might be holding on to them and you might need them, but then you realize somebody over there across the table from you has a very specific number of cards. They've picked up a lot of a very specific card and they're looking really proud of themselves. Maybe I should play the 1 now, and then boom, you've saved the game. All of a sudden, they aren't gonna win anymore. And it's just really good. And talk about like a game that you can give somebody and it not be like expensive at all. Panda Panda, very well worth your time. Well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope here at Tablenauts that however you are choosing to celebrate this time of year, whether it's with your family or by yourself at home or whatever is happening, we hope that you have a great time. We hope that it's filled with peace and love and lots of board games. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.